Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, coaches. Come on in. We've got a great topic for you today. We are going to go through a checklist and talk about, was I or am I built for entrepreneurship? I know this is a question that a lot of the clients that I work with, coming from the corporate sector, they're coming in, they're building their own business, they're becoming an entrepreneur with their coaching business, and they want to know, is this something at my core that I was built for, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to quick log into my phone. I want to make sure you guys can see me, can hear me, all the good things. As you're coming in today, if you could give me a hashtag live and let me know that you're here live. Also would love to know that you can hear me. So give me some kind of an emoji, a thumbs up if you can hear me. Looks like it's going well. Hey, Anita, thanks for joining us today. Hey, Amy, always good to see Amy with us. All right, guys, drop into the chat. I would love to hear specifically as we're coming upon March, we're ending Q1. So we're thinking about our coaching business, even for those of you who are just starting, maybe some of you that are coming in for the upcoming free workshop next week. I'd love to know, what is your number one goal that you'd like to get done in your coaching business this month? What is your number one goal you'd like to get done in your coaching business this month? Drop it into the chat, A, for accountability, right? Put it out there into the universe. And B, I like to know these things in the group because I may be able to help you, right? Depending on what you share, I've got a vault of over 100 free training videos. I might be able to flip something over to you that is super helpful. All right, so let's get into it. As you're coming in today, give me that hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. And again, I want to know, what is one of your coaching business goals that you're trying to achieve by the end of March, that if you achieve this goal, you would feel great? The more you tell me, the more I can help you as well. All right, let's jump into it. One thing I'm going to drop into the chat here. It's Amy with us. What's going on, Amy? I'm going to make sure I tag my peeps in the group. Facebook is lagging a little bit on me today. Come on now, Facebook. Okay, see if that worked. Hopefully that did. All right, and Amy says, my CAS. You want to get your CAS done. Tell us more about that, Amy. Drop into the chat a little bit more about that so we can help you achieve your goal. All right, let's talk about it today. How do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? I want to talk about that with you all today. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I know the group is growing. We've got a lot of new peeps coming in for the upcoming free three-step client acquisition system workshop. It is starting this upcoming Monday. So within the week, in about 6 days, this upcoming Monday, March 10th, we are starting our new workshop. So I know there's a lot of new faces coming into the group. My name is Betty Kemp. I'm a business coach-sultant. I call myself a coach-sultant. I'm part coach, part consultant when it comes to helping you build your business. What else can I tell you about myself? 3-time member of the Forbes Coaches Council, IPEC graduate, for those of you familiar with IPEC, ranked one of the top coaches in Denver and again in Tampa by Influence Digest, and recently listed as one of the top 10 business coaches to follow by Life Coach magazine. Last but not least, I'm the proud founder of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. So this is what we do. We help corporate renegades ditch the 9-to-5 and repackage their genius into a 6-figure coaching business. So quick reminder, as always, if you would like additional coaching support with your business, right? There's one thing to attend, a Facebook live like today, and there's another thing to really get into it with me and share your specific goals and challenges, and for me to kind of help you map out a customized solution. So if you're looking for that additional support, there is a link in the copy of this Facebook Live. So if you click on the video and you see some copy next to the Facebook Live, there's a link where you'll be able to book a call with me. And that's your chance to share with me your business goals, any business challenges. You can ask me any questions. We can see if potentially you're a fit for one of our programs, or at minimum, we'll have you leaving the call with some customized free content. So on that call, again, what's in it for you? We do a deep dive to uncover why have you not yet achieved your goals. We'll do a gap analysis So that's going to be really helpful to you when you're that close to the business, even if you're just starting on the business and you're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do yet, right? It's going to be helpful for you to have a gap analysis as far as, okay, this is where you need to start, or this is why you're not where you want to be yet. You'll also learn the steps to take to achieve your business goals. So that's the other thing we'll talk about on the call. And then, of course, a deeper understanding of some of the programs that we offer, including the Corporate to Six Figure Coach Academy, and just talk about if you're a good fit for one of our programs. Of course, we give you a run through of program options and pricing. All right, so before we get on to today's topic, was I built for entrepreneurship? Quick announcement, very important announcement. So as I mentioned, and as y'all are coming in, give me a hashtag live if you're coming in live, and I want to hear more about your goal that you want to achieve in March. So if you can, drop into the comments, what is the goal you want to achieve in March? And I'm just checking out the chat here, making sure my comments are going through. Sometimes they do. That's good. Okay, so quick reminder, the workshop, the free workshop is coming up, the 3-step coaching client acquisition system. So the idea here with this workshop, it is free. It is starting this Monday, March 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In order to attend the workshop, you have to be registered. You have got to be registered. So I'm going to quick drop the link to register. Now it is in the copy next to the Facebook Live, but let's see if I can also drop it into the comment section as well. So do make sure you're registered for a couple reasons. One, that's how we get you your workbook. You get a free 12-page workbook. For those of you that have registered and are waiting on your workbooks, it's coming this week. So one, you got to register for your workbook. Two, that's how we assigned you your customized support team member. So we have Tabitha Allman, who is helping us with this launch. She'll come in, make sure you have everything you need, make sure you know which of the workshop days to attend based on your goals, right? This is a very hands-on workshop. So what's the point of the workshop? The cool thing about the workshop is, right, my clients most of my clients are working a full-time gig, right? So it's kind of the sweet spot of how do I get clients, but I'm still working at this full-time gig, whether it's their corporate job, et cetera. So we're going to teach you a 3-step client acquisition system without blowing your cover at your corporate job, right? I know that it's hard for some of you to go on LinkedIn and post and be all crazy when you got a corporate job. So we're going to talk about how you can still get clients even if you're at a corporate job. We're going to talk about how you can get clients pre-launch. So you do not need a website, all these things to be able to get clients. I'm going to talk about how to get clients pre-launch and really the importance of getting clients immediately while you're still at your corporate job is going to help to mitigate risk, because this is going to help you create enough coaching income to allow you to transition out of corporate when you're ready. So we're going to be validating the market by getting these clients while you're still in your corporate job and building that income base. So it's a smooth transition. Okay, so really important. It'll be a lot of great info. It's going to be new info. If you've attended before, I do recommend you attend again. I do hot seat coaching every day. You can bring your customized issues that you have or your goals that you want to achieve. I hot seat coach every day. I have updated the workshop material. So I think the last time I did this was maybe 6 months ago. I'm not doing these workshops as often anymore. I think this last one was 6 months ago. So it's all updated material based on the latest trends. And it's accounting for shifts in the market that you need to know in order to attract clients in 2025. So if you're going to write something down before you leave today, what worked in 2024 is not going to work in 2025, okay? What worked in 2024 will not work in 2025. So be sure that you register for this workshop so you can learn how you need to adjust the way that you're approaching your business so that you can achieve your coaching business goals. All right, so that's my last reminder. Be sure to register. Link to register is in the comments and in the copy attached to this video, or you can simply DM me if you need any help there. All right, let's get into it. How do I know? How do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? I want to talk to y'all about that today. And here's the deal, right? When we talk about entrepreneurship, yes, most entrepreneurship skill sets can be learned, right? They're learned, they can be learned. But I think part of the point that I want to make to y'all today is that there are also many parts of being an entrepreneur that come from within. Okay. They are part of who you are at your core. So there's kind of a sweet spot, right? Some things can be learned, some things are who you are at your core. So we're going to talk about that. Again, this is kind of my gig here, right? I am working with, most of my clients are coming out of the corporate realm where their whole life, right? They've been in some kind of corporate gig, and they're making this transition to building their coaching business. And many are curious to know, do I have what it takes, right? How do I even know I have what it takes? So, the truth is that sitting at your corporate cubicle, right, is going to be wildly different than, look at me here in my office, right, working on your own business at your own discretion, at your own pace from home, or wherever you choose to work from. Before you even get started building your coaching business, I want to make sure that this, notion of entrepreneurship is in your blood so that you don't crash and burn before you even get started. So let's get into it. How do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? Today's agenda, we're going to talk about the key factor that will make or break whether or not you will make it as a coach or an entrepreneur. Number two, we're going to talk about the difference between the employee mindset, or you could call it the employee or the corporate mindset, versus the CEO mindset. Okay, it's a mindset shift. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but we're going to talk about that. I want to talk about the day in the life of an entrepreneur, what works and what doesn't work, and questions. I want to leave you with questions you can ask yourself, kind of like a short checklist, a short quiz, so you can see to yourself, right, and is entrepreneurship for me, right? Please, I come live so we can interact. By all means, drop in your questions, drop in your thoughts. Even if they're off topic and something comes up in your brain, that's why I'm here live. So be sure that you're dropping in any questions you have as I'm going through. I don't want to be just talking head for you guys. What else do I want to say? If you're watching the replay, same thing. Drop in your questions and just tag me, right? I'll circle back and answer all your questions if you're watching the replay. All right, so let's get into it. And again, every so often you see me glancing at my phone because it's just a little easier for me to see comments on my phone. All right, let's get into it. The key factor that will make or break whether or not you will make it as a coach / entrepreneur, okay? Lean in, right? This is the part where I want you to lean in and listen. This is the good stuff here. The key factor that's going to make or break whether or not you're going to make it as a coach / entrepreneur, it's mindset and mission. It's mindset and mission. I know I'm preaching to the choir, so let me dig in here a little bit with y'all. It's mindset and mission. There are going to be times as an entrepreneur when the going gets tough, right? We are so lucky as coaches that we were trained for this when it comes to mindset. So if you think about all the other entrepreneurs out there trying to build their business, right? And when times get tough and it's like, oh, how do I handle this? Y'all, we were trained for this, right? We're coaches, we're masters at mindset. So, the reminder here is, and I know a lot of you have heard this kind of process before in breaking down the importance of mindset. The results that you see in your coaching business are based on the actions that you take. The actions you take each day in your business are based on how you feel. How you feel is going to, propel the actions you take. Now, how you feel each day is based on how you think, right? So if I'm feeling a certain way today, I got to ask myself, what are the thoughts going through my head? And then those thoughts, right? We go to the core of the thoughts. We think of thoughts as like clouds floating throughout the sky, and they kind of come and go, right? But they're impacting our feelings. Our feelings are impacting the actions we take. The actions we take are impacting our results. And then you got to think about your core beliefs, which are at the core of it all, right? What are your core beliefs when it comes to being a business owner? And that's where y'all gotta, all of us, right? Gotta check yourself, right? If your results are a certain way and you're not taking actions to propel you forward, and there's feelings getting in the way of that, and there's thoughts that are making you feel those feelings, right? Go all the way back, and we got to really dissect what are the core beliefs that we're holding around being a business owner or achieving our goals as an entrepreneur that could be affecting the results we see, right? So again, lucky for us, we are coaches. So we are armed and dangerous when it comes to inspecting our mindset, right? Now, from time to time, right? I've been doing this now, I don't know, 8 years or so. And, you know, as you guys realize, mindset is not a one and done, right? It's not like, oh, took care of my mindset when it comes to building my business. I'm good here. Limiting beliefs will come up from time to time, right? They will. They'll pop up from time to time. And you have got to be on the ready to reframe every time. You've got to be ready for a reframe every time. All right. So again, questions to ask yourself. And for those of you who went to IPAC, this will sound familiar, although I know a lot of coach certifications have some kind of a limiting belief questions, you know, that you ask yourself. So if a limiting belief comes up, right, about you know, nobody can replace their corporate income with a coaching business, or you know, loving the job you do and making a good salary. Those two things don't go together, right? These are all limiting beliefs. So step one is check yourself, right? So write this down when it comes to getting in the right headspace for being an entrepreneur. A little journaling activity. Action item 1, write down some limiting beliefs that you are currently holding around building a coaching business. Okay, you don't have to do it now necessarily, but I want you to take that as a takeaway. Write down some limiting beliefs you're currently holding around building your coaching business. Step 2, I want you to circle the one that you believe is currently limiting you the most. Okay, and then that's the one we focus on. Okay, so step 1, do just a word dump. Here are all the limiting beliefs that are potentially getting in the way of me achieving my goal. Step 2, circle the one that you feel is currently limiting you the most, right? And then we go through this exercise, and I'm going to kind of rattle off some questions. And if any of you want me to just send you my working document with these questions, just put in the chat worksheet, or DM me, send me a DM and say worksheet, and I'll flip it over to you today. But here are the questions you have to ask yourself once you identify your limiting belief, right? So again, am I built for entrepreneurship? Well, part 1 of that is, are you ready to take on limiting beliefs, right? So you're going to ask yourself, okay, here's the limiting belief I'm dealing with the most right now. How true is that belief really? Right? We're going to check ourselves. How true is that belief really? Okay, so that's question number 1. Question number 2, what evidence do you have to support that belief? I know I'm going a little bit fast, so if you want the worksheet, just drop into the comments worksheet, and I'll flip it over to you via DM today, or you can send me a DM that says worksheet. Okay. So we're going to ask ourselves, question 1, how true is this belief really? Question 2, what evidence do you have to support that belief? Question 3, where did you get that belief or that idea from? Where did you get that idea from? The next question, how has this belief affected you? Right? How has this belief affected you? Is it serving you? Is it serving you? How has it affected you? How has it affected you in your goal and your dream and your mission and your calling towards building your coaching business? This next question, I love this question. This was a life-changing question for me. Why does that belief have to be true for you? Right? You ever hear other people talking about, you know, this, that, and the other, entrepreneurship, and, you know, whatever people are spouting out? Well, the question is, why does that belief have to be true for you? If I would have listened to some of the things 7, 8 years ago, people were saying about building your own business, etc., I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. This was a pivotal question for me. Why does that belief have to be true for you? Okay. Last but not least, how can you let that belief go? And this is where you really have to think, go deep. How can you let that belief go? Because that's going to be different for each of us. And then we kick it off with, how can you put that into action immediately? Okay, so little reminder here, how do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? You got to be ready with, reframing those thoughts that are coming through and standing as barriers between you and the actions you need to take in order for the results you want to get. Okay, you've got to be okay with, from time to time, these limiting beliefs or thoughts are going to pop up, and I'm going to be ready to work on reframing them. It's not about perfection. It's about addressing those limiting beliefs and not just plowing over them like they don't exist. Okay. I by no means, to be an entrepreneur, I'm not allowed to have limiting beliefs in order to be an entrepreneur. That is false. To be an entrepreneur, you have to be ready to spot the limiting belief around building your coaching business and go through an immediate reframe with this exercise. And that's, again, the cool thing about coaches is we live for this, right? So you just have to be ready and willing to spot those beliefs and then to do the reframe. The next part of it was I made for entrepreneurship. And again, drop any questions in there. If going through that limiting belief exercise, if you have any questions on that or how that would work for you. What's going on, Amy? Amy's watching the replay. Business goal by the end of March. Cross the line into 300 coaching hours. I like that goal, Amy. Yeah, and I'm glad you're thinking about it too. It's okay not to know. That's why these calls are good, right? I want you guys to be thinking about, what is my goal? What is my goal for March? Hey, Tracy, Renee, thanks for joining us. Tracy would love to hear your goal for March as well. And again, drop any questions y'all have as I'm going through. Was I built for entrepreneurship? So really important. The next thing I want to talk about is mission, your mission. And I tell my clients, this is something I say to my clients, and this is the truth. When I am deciding, and it is a decision, and y'all will make the same decision, when I'm deciding who do I want to work with, because the same way clients or prospective clients will decide, do I want to work with that coach? You as the coach get to decide, who do I want to work with? So something I tell my prospective clients when I'm trying to figure out who's a good fit for my program or for working with me, is that you have to want to achieve your mission as a coach more than I do. I can't want it more than you do. And I really, really want it. I'm very selective with the people I work with because I really, really want them to be achieving their goals. But the only way for that to happen is you've got to want to make your mission of building a coaching business come true more than even I do, right? Your coach. Now, your mission is going to be around what you will bring to the world with your coaching, right? So when you think about, okay, I'm going to become a coach and build this coaching business, what your mission, what are you planning on bringing to the world as your coach? I'd love to, and again, you guys, safe space here, drop into the comments here. And this doesn't have to be a pretty, perfectly worded, I just, word dump here. What's your mission? When you decided I'm going to become a coach, give me your mission. What's your why? How did this become your calling? I would love to hear from y'all on that. Drop me a couple sentences into the chat here. What is your mission as a coach? What's your mission around what you will bring to the world with your coaching? All the minds and hearts you will touch, right? Now, once you choose your niche, For those of you who know me, know I'm often talking about the niche. This is one of the things I love doing with my clients is helping them select a niche. So once you choose your niche, and this is, again, part of what I help my clients do. It's the first part of our program in the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. But typically, your mission then gets even more powerful because it ends up being around your niche. So to give y'all an example, my mission, and this is the truth, and this is why I picked this niche. Side note, most of us are coaching a former version of ourselves in some way, right? My mission is to help every corporate renegade with a dream of coaching in their heart to replace their corporate income with a coaching business they are passionate about, period, point blank. It hurts my heart to think about my peers and fellow coaches sitting out there in a corporate cubicle or whatnot. They got certified as a coach. They know that's their mission. They know that's their calling, but they don't know how, or they aren't taking the steps they need to take to bridge from corporate to coach, right? And there is a way, going back to limiting beliefs, that absolutely, if you're pulling the right levers and you've got the right blueprint, you can replace and or exceed your corporate income as a coach and love what you do. So that is my mission, is to help people do both, because it is possible by pulling the right levers. That's my mission. Now, so think about your mission. Every day you get out of bed, your why around building your business. This is a big part of, am I cut out to be an entrepreneur, right? Every day you get out of bed, your why has got to be so strong that it propels you forward, okay? And by the way, the why, right, goes even deeper than the mission, right? We've got our mission for what we want for our clients and how we're going to change the world, but we've also got our whys about how it's going to change our lives or our families' lives, or potentially the life you want to live, right? This is a bridge that's going to get you closer to that life you want to live. So I'd love for y'all to drop me into the comments, whether you're watching the replay or the live, list out some reasons. I want to hear why. Why do you want this? Why do you want to build a coaching business, right? And it can be a plethora of things, right? Some people, the working from home is a big piece of it. More time with the family. Coaching is their passion, right? There's a billion things, but it's different for everyone. And how do I know if I was built for entrepreneurship? You got to have a strong why, and you've got to lock into that why, right? You've got to it's got to be there, and you've got to be able to lock into that. And by lock into that, I would, just like lifting weights and going to the gym, it's not a one and done, right? This is your why should be something part of your affirmations. There's something you step into every morning. Okay. Just checking back and forth between comments here. And let's see with Amy. Oh, you're about 15 minutes behind. Okay, cool. This is my topic. Yes, girl. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur before I became a coach. Interesting, right? And I still feel afraid. Here for the mindset shift. I love it, Amy. Yeah, and that's interesting too, right? A lot of us become coaches because we love to coach, and then we figure out, oh shoot, I got to build a business along with this, right? I went through the same thing, right? So again, for Amy, right, or for any of you, that's part of why that mission, you got to go all the way back to when you originally became a coach and lock into that. And for some of us, it's been a minute, right? For me, it's been 7-8 years. You have to still lock in. Why did I want to do this in the first place, right? What are all those reasons? And you have to really embrace those reasons each morning when you're doing the hard stuff, right? When you're building the business, because it's all connected to the why. I do want to talk about the difference between the employee mindset, or what I call the corporate mindset. So there's the employee mindset, you're in your corporate job, versus the CEO mindset or the entrepreneurship mindset. So again, to be clear, employee mindset. So this is, I'm working at my corporate job, I'm an employee, versus the CEO or entrepreneur mindset. So Amy talked about the mindset shift. Let's talk about it. The employee mindset. So again, we're talking about, how do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? So there is, as Amy said, there's a mindset shift that has to take place. Again, it's okay if you're not there yet, but you have to be willing to get there. You have to be willing to do the work and to get there. And sometimes that requires coaches, right? Coaches need coaches. It's tough. We've got the skills, but then we look in the mirror, we're like, what the heck? I just coached my client on this, and now I'm dealing with this, right? So don't be afraid to reach out to a coach on this stuff. It's tough to look in the mirror and coach yourself on this stuff. So let's talk about mindset. The employee mindset is all about playing it safe, right? Playing it safe. The entrepreneur mindset is going to take more risk. They're going to take more risk. But to be clear, the entrepreneur mindset is not about, now listen, I'm risk averse, okay? So let me be clear here. When I say taking risk, I'm talking about being prepared to fail and learn from your mistakes. So please, if you're writing something down, write that down, okay? When I say the entrepreneur mindset is about taking risk, what I mean by that is it's about being prepared to fail and learn from your mistakes. If you think you're going to glide through the process of anything in life, let alone building a business, and no mistakes are made, or you're so afraid to make a mistake that you won't even get started, we gotta approach, that's a problem, right? So you've got to be prepared to fail and learn from your mistakes. It's part of the process. Embrace it. It's freeing to embrace that. It's about being willing to put everything on the line for your business. It's about being willing to put everything on the line for your business. While employees, right, the corporate mindset, the employee mindset, embrace the I can do it all mentality, right? You think about that employee mindset, oh, I'll do everything, I can do it all. The entrepreneurial mindset is going to leverage delegating, automating, streamlining, outsourcing, okay? We think about being in our corporate jobs and, employees, right? Oh, got to impress the boss, right? There's all these different political games we got to play. Whereas the entrepreneur needs to use their time wisely to reach their goals. So here, right, there's no political, office politics to climb the corporate ladder. I'm not, oh, what do I have to do today to make my boss happy? I'm thinking about how can I use my time wisely today to reach my goal? So again, we're talking about mindset shifts. Am I made for entrepreneurship, right? We have to shift from, I can do it, it's all me, put it all on my shoulders, to, and this should be good news for y'all. As you're building your business, you're going to learn ways where it's not all on you. You can automate, you can streamline, you can delegate, right? You hire a business coach to help you condense the amount of time and energy you would have spent doing it by yourself, okay? Another example, entrepreneurial mindset versus employee mindset. The entrepreneurial mindset sees obstacles as opportunities. Oh, it's an obstacle. Okay, cool. How do I get around it? I'm not saying put on these, rose tinted glasses and, oh, yay, challenges, right? But truly, that's part of being an entrepreneur. If I see an obstacle, if you have a meltdown every time there's an obstacle, you're gonna have a rough time. So the entrepreneurial mindset sees obstacles as opportunities. Oh, there's something in my way. Time for me to figure out how to get around it. Of course, you have a business coach. That's kind of the idea, right? Is you're not spending this massive amount of time, energy, and money trying to figure out how to get around the challenge yourself. You've got a mentor who says this is what works. But entrepreneurial mindset, okay, it's an obstacle, but it's an opportunity for me to learn. While the employee mindset sees an obstacle as a roadblock, right? So if every time you come upon an obstacle in building your business and you're like, roadblock done, right? That's a major mindset shift that's going to need to take place. Entrepreneurials Entrepreneurs have a growth mindset. I know you guys as coaches have heard about the growth mindset, right? That's our language. Entrepreneurs have a growth mindset that allows them to jump into the unknown. So listen up here, because listen, I'm a fellow corporate gal, right? I don't like jumping into the unknown. I want a blueprint. But you have to be okay and prepared that there will be times in building your business where you will be jumping into the unknown, because you know that either you're going to gain something or you're going to learn something valuable for next time. Okay, really important. Okay, let me repeat that again. Entrepreneurs, right, are willing to jump into the unknown because either you know that you're going to gain something or you're going to learn something valuable for next time. Now, obviously, again, I keep peppering this in because it's the truth. I myself have worked with business coaches throughout my entire journey. Part of working with a business coach is you're not going in blind, right? They have a roadmap, they have a blueprint, right? That's the good ones do, right? Hopefully you're working with a business coach that has a plan, a blueprint. But the idea here is there are going to be times where you're like, I don't know what's going to happen here, right? And that's, you have to shift how you're looking at that. Employee mindset, they do a lot of thinking without starting, right? So they're mulling around in their heads. Employee mindset, well, if I don't have every single step laid out in front of me, I'm just going to mull around in my head without getting started, right? Entrepreneurs sometimes are going to jump ahead and start without all that mulling around in their brain. They're taking action. They're embracing imperfect action. You'll hear me say that again and again. Embrace imperfect action. Employees spend a lot of time talking, thinking, right? And entrepreneurs are doing, all right? P.S. It's okay to be scared and still say, I am going to embrace the CEO mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, I just want to make that clear. If you're hearing some of this and thinking, oh my gosh, I do feel some of these things, it's okay to be scared or to feel scared or to spot yourself in some of these places and still embrace the CEO mindset. The idea here is you have to be willing to spot, right, where the CEO mindset versus the employee mindset are coming up against each other in your brain. You got to be willing to spot it, and then you got to be willing to do the reframe, right? Instead of just mulling around, right? Oh, I'm not going to take action, right? Fear does not mean stop. Drop any questions you have in. Drop any questions you have in. Hey, Courtney, I miss you, lady. Yes, Amy, I will send you the worksheet. Absolutely. Courtney, thanks for popping in. Amy says, for my CAS goals, I need to create an outreach system. Absolutely, girl, and set up some content. Okay, you're in a good spot. We're at outreach and content. Good. I also need to figure out what I'm taking from my quarterly and 1v1 programs to use as a lead magnet. Amy, I love how specific your goals are, lady. Let's connect on that. I love how specific your goals are. I'll send you a DM, but think about where in those goals, and we can talk offline, I can support. That's great how specific you are. Amy's mission, changing the world one teacher at a time. Empowerment, clear communication, global mindset. Chills, 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 chills. And that, Amy, is what it's all about. Who needs more support than teachers right now? And exactly what you said is exactly your mission, changing the world one teacher at a time. And you're doing it, right? So that piece, that mission, that why, that's got to be stronger than any I don't want to take action, or I'm afraid to take action, or it's imperfect action, because it's not about us. It's not about us, right? And I know you all know this as coaches. It's about them being your potential clients out there waiting for you to find them, right? When we get out of this headspace where, how do I show up I don't want to go live on video, and I'm not saying you have to go live on video, but when we make it all about us, this has to be perfect, this has to be a certain way, or I won't move forward. It's not about us. It's about the people out there that need our help, but they can't find us because we aren't visible and we aren't doing the right things to attract the clients that need us to us, which is why I'm running this workshop next week. All right, I want to kind of round it off here with 2 final points. The day in the life of an entrepreneur, what works and what doesn't work. And obviously, caveat, every entrepreneur has structured their day differently. We know this, right? But from a general sense, when I'm talking about how do I know I was built for entrepreneurship, let's talk about what best practices, what the day looks like, and thinking about, could I handle that? Or am I willing to structure my day like that? So here's what works. And again, I'm thinking about the clients that I've had that have killed it, right? Meaning they've hit their goals, whatever their goals are. Everybody's got a different goal. Some of my clients that have, had a 6-figure year. Some of my clients that have had that really smooth corporate to coach transition, multiple 10K months, landed a 50K contract, right? The clients, and I think back and I'm like, what, besides obviously being in my program and following my blueprint, what were the defining characteristics of how they approach their business? So here's what works. Treat your coaching business like your job. Treat it like your job. Set up time blocks. Okay. So just like when we go into our corporate job and I got a meeting at this time and I got to work on my project at this time. If you show up for your coaching business each day, kind of like, I got a couple of calls on the calendar, I'll just do my to-do list in between calls. That's not time blocking, right? So we're treating our business like our job. We're time blocking. We're setting annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. This is why I'm always talking to you guys about what are your goals. This is part of what I do with my clients. We go really deep into goal setting. We have success coaches that work with our clients one-on-one. I've developed a 30-day goal worksheet. So we're constantly, every action you take, right, is working backwards towards achieving some kind of a goal. So we're setting time blocks. We're setting annual, quarterly, monthly goals. Time blocks are more important than a to-do list. Okay, I'm not saying you can't have a to-do list. I have a to-do list, okay? But unless you put it on your calendar, it isn't real. So you got to look at that list and you got to take it off the list and block it onto your calendar, okay? This is the way that entrepreneurs get ahead. Was I built for entrepreneurship? Right? And these are skills, right? It's not like you're born this way, right? This is where you guys have to just be willing to do the work, okay? Was I built for entrepreneurship? This is also spending time on high value, high ROI activities, okay? Sometimes what people want to do in their business is spend a lot of time on something maybe that feels easy, or whatever it is. Sometimes it's almost like busy work, but in their mind, they're like, well, I'm working on my business. As an entrepreneur, especially when you're kicking it off before you have a team, your time is everything. So you need to know, out of all the things that I could do right now with my business, what are the high value, high ROI activities that I could and should be spending my time on? And if you don't know, that's when you need to partner with a business coach, okay? If you're not willing to get your hands dirty and get in and do the high ROI activities, that's going to be a struggle. In the academy that I teach, I have a lesson on building out a CEO schedule. And we talk about what to work on during the day, during the week, whether you're working on your coaching business, and we take into account your corporate job, whether it's full-time or you got a part-time job, right? All these things are kind of happening holistically. We're building out that what I call a CEO schedule. And, we're making sure that's customized to you and to your life, right? So really important is that you have that time block, that schedule ahead of time, and that you know what to work on. That's the biggest thing that I see that's a problem for people. They sit down and they're like, okay, but what do I work on? What was I built for entrepreneurship? Do you have a plan, right? Do you have a business plan to follow to stand up a sustainable business? I talk a lot about my signature methodology, which I call the 5 C's. I've actually added a C, so I should call it the 6 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business. First is your corporate to coach transition. So building that blueprint, choosing a niche, creating a killer coaching package, curtains up, launch your brand, the client attraction system, and closing the deal. Okay, so here's my point. Was I built for entrepreneurship? You're not going to be born with that information, but you have to be willing to take action, to raise your hand and say, I know that I don't want to build my business in a bubble, and I'm going to, find somebody who I feel has a trusted blueprint, gets results, and I'm going to follow that blueprint with them. Okay. Having a business advisor, or even better, I like to call it a business board of advisors, right? Part of my program, yes, I'm the business coach in my program. I don't run programs with hundreds of people where you barely see me or talk to me. That's not my vibe. I like to keep things so that I'm able to talk and coach to every single client on every single call. All my clients get assigned a personal success coach who walks them through their goals, right? There's all these different ways where checks and balances, you have a support squad behind you. You have a mastermind, whether you're working with me one-on-one or in my group, there's a mastermind of coaches in my program that are there to support you. So my point is this, whether it's my program or something else, it takes a community to stand up your business, okay? Please understand that. No one person has all the answers. It takes a community, okay? Now, we talked a little bit about what does work as an entrepreneur. Here's what doesn't work, and please take note of this. This is where I see coaches struggle. Throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. So instead of having a blueprint, oh, I saw today that, so-and-so's podcast was talking about blah, blah, blah. Let me try that today on Tuesday. That's not a business plan. That's not a strategy, right? That's shiny object syndrome. What else? Working on your business whenever you get around to it, right? Versus proactively planning out time in advance. Okay? Proactively planning out time in advance. I'm going to be honest, not having a business mentor who's been there, done that. I will speak for myself. There is no way I'd be where I'm at if I hadn't have worked with numerous business advisors, coaches, consultants over the 8 years I've been doing this. Okay. Working on your business in a bubble, that's going to set you back in time, energy, and money. Okay. Relying on freebies that you find online versus a tried and true program, system, method to stand up your business, right? Freebies are cool here and there, right? But they're not sustainable in terms of the long-term longevity of you saying, I'm locking into this method to build my business. Okay, so understanding that freebies are good for deciding, is this a coach I want to work with? Do I like their style? Do I like their method? Right? And hopefully the freebie's helpful, right? But they're not a sustainable thing like, oh, this year, let me just rely on all freebies, right? So entrepreneurial mindset versus employee mindset. Sitting down at your desk and realizing, I don't know what I'm supposed to be working on, right? So again, if you're like, oh, I do those things, it's okay, but you have to be willing to challenge those things. Okay. If you continue this year, we're in 2025, to sit down at your desk and wonder, what do I work on today for my business? It's going to be a rough year. So how do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? You got to recognize these roadblocks and you got to be willing to challenge them. Okay. Really important. Okay, going to end the call here on questions to ask yourself. It's a short quiz to see if you can handle being an entrepreneur. Amy says, embracing imperfect action. Use those words. Yesterday, I hate it, but I'm trying to do it. Amy, I love you for that. And listen, I attract people just like me, right? I worked in my corporate realm. I was corporate communications. I did that for over a decade. A lot of the time I was very honed in on everything had to be perfect before I sent it out to tens of thousands of people, or however many people were going to see that communication. And in the entrepreneurial world, the why, the mission has to be more important than the perfection. So it's okay for it to be an ongoing kind of like tug of war, but that's something that you have to be willing to continue to lift those muscles. All right. So again, I'm going to kind of bounce off y'all some questions you can ask yourself to see if you can handle being an entrepreneur. But I'm going to rattle them off. So I would say, if you're looking for the worksheet from me that I mentioned earlier in the call, I'm going to include this in the worksheet. And if you weren't on the call when I mentioned that, just drop worksheet into the chat or DM me the word worksheet, and I will give you this short quiz to go through yourself to see, is entrepreneurship for me, right? So the first thing we talked about is mindset, right? And again, it's not that we have to have this perfect robotic mindset that always looks at things like the glass half full. You just have to be aware of where your brain is running around. You got to be aware. You got to be willing to spot it, and you got to be willing to work on it. Okay, really important. Number two, your mission, your why, and your mission, and your calling to be a coach. If this is your calling, nothing can stand in your way. Drop into the chat if you feel like coaching is your calling, right? If you feel like this is your calling, nothing can stand in your way. Your mission, your why, your calling needs to be stronger than your fear of failure. So that's question number 2 to ask yourself. Is my mission, is my why, is my calling stronger than my fear of failure, right? Do you desire freedom? Time freedom, freedom of location, freedom of focus, right? If you're a person that's really feeling shackled in the corporate world, and I know for me, that was me, right? I wanted a lot of different types of freedom, right? I wanted freedom of focus. I wanted to choose what I was going to focus on for the day. I wanted time freedom when I set up my schedule, freedom from where I worked, right? So if you have a strong desire for freedom, right, we're looking at on entrepreneurship being for you. If you like doing things on your own terms, setting your own priorities versus being micromanaged, right? And some people would rather have people just telling them what to do. So if you're one of those people that's like, no, I want to build my life and business on my own terms. This is an entrepreneurial, we're leaning towards that side of it. Next, are you self-motivated? Are you self-motivated? Yeah, in my academy, we do give you a private success coach. And of course, I'm going to be your business coach, and there's layers of accountability, but you still need to be motivated to sit down and work on your coaching business, right? That's going to happen in between coaching calls. You got to be motivated to achieve your objectives. You got to be competitive with yourself. You got to take initiative. You've got to thrive, sometimes with limited supervision. So you got to be willing to do the work in between calls. Next, you've got to know what direction you're going in. And it's okay if you don't now, but you got to be willing to take the action to connect with a business mentor to say, okay, what are my goals? What do I need to do to get to those goals, right? For a lot of you, the next step here is getting really specific with your niche. If you feel like you were destined for something greater than your corporate gig, right? If you're sitting in a corporate meeting and you're just like, there's got to be more. That was me. There's got to be more than this. I felt like a round peg, or a square peg in a round hole, right? So if you got this feeling in your 9 to 5, I say that as a joke, 9 to 5, we all know it's more like 8 to 7. But if you feel like you were destined for something greater than your corporate gig, your purpose is something greater than that. You want to make a difference. You want to make a mark on the world. You have a desire to serve, right? That's coaching. You have a desire to serve. Strong work ethic, as generic as that sounds, especially in the first year in your business, right? You've got to be willing to, no business coach can hand you a magic thing, right? We can give you a beautiful blueprint. Hopefully, you can't just a blueprint. You also need layers of accountability. Okay, so if both those things are needed, but you've got to have that strong work ethic, especially the first year in your business. And the good news is it gets easier year after year. You have to have a commitment to learning. Are you committed to learn? Entrepreneurship is all about learning. Are you willing to learn how to manage your money in business? Right? When we became coaches, it's not like, oh yeah, learn, P&L and all that, but you got to learn how to manage your money in business. Now, listen, that doesn't have to be your focus. In my program, we recommend profit first. That's a whole nother topic, but there are ways you can get support with that. You just have to be willing to do it. You can't ignore it. Are you somebody who is, thriving with an anabolic energy, who inspires, who motivates, who leads, even yourself at first? Are you a thought leader? Are you willing to learn how to go for no? So if you're afraid to hear the word no, right, we got to work on that. You got to be okay with no. Some people are not meant to be your clients, and that's cool. That's okay, right? So be willing to learn how to go for no, and don't let it discourage you. Not everybody was meant, to work with you, right? It's all about finding the right fits. And notice I said willing to learn. All right. So there you have it, y'all. How do I know I was built for entrepreneurship? Drop a comment below before we get off. I'd love to know who's attending the upcoming workshop with us, the 3-step client acquisition system workshop. Who needs a link to register? Who needs their workbook? Drop some comments below. Let us know so we can get that for you, to you. Have a great week. I will see you starting next week is the free workshop, Monday, March 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for day 1. And every day next week, you will see me Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after work. But you got to register. We're going to be going live on Zoom. You're going to need the Zoom link. You're going to need the worksheet, the workbook, all that good stuff. So don't forget to register, and I will see y'all very soon. Have a wonderful week.